Today is the first quarter moon in Virgo, and I am Sinta Danu, and today I'll be looking over the chart and kind of showing what's coming up for like the next week. We already looked at the new moon last week, so this is really just the next week until the full moon. So this is today, and it'll last until basically next Wednesday, next Thursday-ish. And I'll be doing the next live on Wednesday. So this is the quarter moon in Virgo over here on my screen. Let's see, I might make this a little bit bigger. So we've got the quarter moon in Virgo. So you have the moon up here conjunct Black Moon Lilith, which is kind of interesting because Black Moon Lilith is like, the fight the patriarchy, very dark feminine, very like empowered dark feminine, being maybe a little bit manipulative at times, but it's kind of interesting because it's been in Virgo for a while, and Virgo is very much the maiden. It's about practicality. It's about your day-to-day routine. So Black Moon Lilith being there is kind of interesting in the first place. And so what we're looking at, so we've got the moon here in Virgo, and this is a time where we're probably having challenges with our routine, our day-to-day life, issues with our health, anything that really affects, the practical day-to-day matters, the daily grind, your work, things like that. There's challenges likely to come up with those themes during this week because the new moon is when we plant the seed, we plant the intention, right? And then the quarter moon is like the first challenge or us first taking action on these things, right? So we have the quarter moon in Virgo, and that's again all about health, routine, day-to-day life, the daily grind, all of that, right? And the moon, of course, the moon's in Virgo, but the sun is over here in Gemini, right? So we set all these intentions, right, around the new moon about Gemini and the ability to like think clearly, be playful, have a little bit more fun, plan things out, be a little bit more social, communicate, all those air sign traits, right? So, and Venus was there and is still with the sun right now, and Mercury has joined the sun. So there was a lot of people who probably set intentions around love and money and things like that. And the first challenge is Virgo, right? All about our day-to-day routine and all health stuff. And that's where we're having our issues, right? So challenges that might arise during this time is you set all these intentions around love or money or socializing, but something in your day-to-day life is really getting in the way, whether it's you don't have a good routine, so you don't have good habits, whether your health is kind of declining or struggling at this time, or it's just not practical to do those things right now or in the way that you originally intended. So that's kind of the first challenge that we're having here, especially because like we have this Black Moon Lilith here, which kind of gives us additional like oomph, right? Where it's like we're feeling a little bit rebellious as well, right? So we feel the need to be practical and to really go into our routines and things like that. But there's like this desire to maybe rebel against what we've been doing in the past, rebel against our routines that we've had in the past, rebel against, our issues with our health or what's considered practical or pragmatic at this time. There might also be a desire to maybe skip over the details here or maybe get too obsessive with the details, right? With this conjunction to Black Moon Lilith. And of course, we're still, with Venus still conjunct the sun, there is that focus on love and money. We really are trying to bring those things in. And with Mercury joining, we're thinking about it, right? There's a lot of mental energy. There may be a lot of travel associated with this, a lot of planning, a lot of communicating, a lot of socializing with all of this in Gemini conjunct the sun, right? But yeah, our routines are getting in the way for some reason. They're making this more difficult. And this is also highlighting a little bit this square to Saturn. So the new moon was like almost exactly square Saturn, right? It was it wasn't super close. It was about 4 degrees out, definitely with an aspect. And so there was some limitations, some feelings of maybe being a little bit stuck or having limits or things just kind of getting in the way of these desires, but also thinking about the long term, right? So again, that's being reactivated because this is only a couple degrees out. This is 4 degrees out from the quarter moon. So there's still these limitations, these thinking about the long-term future, thinking about time, responsibility. Those things are still kind of getting in the way of this more dreamy, playful Gemini energy that we're feeling. But this is a really good time to kind of take action on the intentions that you set on the new moon, because we're looking at this, the moon's in a very practical place, right? So this is a really good time to make new habits that are really going to emphasize and improve everything with your intentions from the new moon. Like, it's a very practical, pragmatic approach that we're in emotionally at this time that can really benefit those intentions that we set, right? And with Saturn being reactivated, what we're doing is really affecting the long term, our long-term responsibilities, our long-term goals, our long-term reality, all of that, right? So this is pretty positive. It is a little bit intense, especially because there's a lot of focus, because this creates a T-square to the Sun and Venus and Mercury. So there's a lot of pressure to, actually make things happen that you set intentions around on the new moon. So there's a lot of drive, a lot of motivation, a lot of tension here, right? And which is good, because this can make us act, and this is a great time to act on those intentions. Mars, of course, has moved into Taurus, so we're slowing down a bit, because Mars was really fast in Aries. It was really having a good time there because it's at home in Aries. But now we're feeling a little bit slowed down. We're having to take our time a little bit more. We're having to get a little bit more grounded, which is good. The moon in Virgo is helping with that grounding process as well. But we really need grounding between all this energy in Gemini, which is very flighty, can be a little bit fickle, very social, very fast, right? And with Saturn in Pisces, which is very dreamy and imaginative and can be a little bit delusional, it's very good to tap into the grounding energy with Mars and Taurus and the moon in Virgo. Let's see what else we got going on here. And it looks like Mars is conjunct this lot of spirit. So there's a lot of spirituality and like the spiritual world kind of affecting our actions and our ability to ground right now. And like, that's kind of probably what the spirit world is asking us to do, is to ground, right? However, like, we have the part of fortune, which is more about reality and like the physical side of things. It's in Scorpio, which is asking us to really look at the occult, the deeper meaning, all these Scorpio darker things that are kind of happening. But this opposition here is pretty interesting. So we're having to balance like the physical world and the spiritual world and align our physical actions and our instincts with the spiritual world right now. So this is a really good time to kind of tap into the spiritual world in order to inform the actions that you're taking during the quarter moon. So if you're feeling a little lost, it might be a good time to like tap in, do a tarot reading, go see a reader, things of that nature. And of course, we've got Jupiter still in Gemini. And it's at 4 degrees. It hasn't moved very far because it's going to be there all year, but it is in this slight little semi-sextile to Mars. So this, taking these actions, these grounded actions that are grounded in our spiritual beliefs and ideals, can really help us to expand right now. There's like an opportunity for that, but it's only if you're really willing to do that and look into that. This quarter moon is in conjunct Chiron, which can be a little bit painful. So a lot of this rebelliousness with Black Moon Lilith may be rooted in like our deepest wound or some kind of wounding that we have from childhood. But like our deeper pain is really being activated. There's like this imbalance with this in conjunction to the new moon or to the quarter moon. So we're probably feeling a little bit of our pain, which may be kind of why we're kind of revolting a little bit here. we're kind of going against the grain with Black Moon Lilith here with this quarter moon. And that's probably due to this in conjunction, because there's an imbalance between the way we feel and the safety and security that we're seeking emotionally with this practicality, and Chiron, which is the wounded healer and is our deepest wound. So we're probably not feeling it exactly safe. We're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, a little uneasy, maybe a little irritated for the next week. But this is a good time. It's can be a little bit healing though, even though this is an uncomfortable aspect. The things that are coming up now probably just need to be healed. And it's probably around things related to independence, because Chiron is in Aries, where it's been for a while, which is all about independence, the self, our own needs, meeting our needs, being assertive, things like that. So there's a lot of healing potential around independence with that. We do still have Mars square Pluto here. It's moving off. It's about 2 degrees out, 2 degrees separating right now. And so this is a potential for some feistiness here with this square. I mean, Mars square Pluto in general is a little bit dangerous in general, because you have the god of war clashing with the god of the underworld, right? So Mars is, in Taurus, and is really wanting to ground and slow down and really, take its time, right? That's what Mars is doing. So it wants to take slow, deliberate action, right? But Pluto is in Aquarius, which is quick and fast and innovative and new. So Pluto's in this place of trying to transform through technology, through advancement, through innovation, right? And so this is kind of creating this tension between Pluto and Mars, where Mars is like, I just want to take my time and kind of get back to, my values, right? Take my time cooking, take my time to, slow and steady steps towards monetary gains and things like that, just really taking its time. And Pluto is like, but we've got to transform and we've got to do this quickly, and really take in new things, which Taurus and Aquarius are very stubborn, but Aquarius tends to like new things a little bit better than Taurus does. Taurus is a little bit more traditional. So, and this can be just really kind of difficult for a lot of reasons. I mean, Mars and Pluto rule quite a few different things. Like, Mars is our instincts in general and kind of the id, right? So it's that part of us that just needs its needs met, right? Whereas Pluto is more of like the shadow. So our instincts, and then our darker instincts, our shadow, our sexuality, the things that we hide, our traumas, are just really being triggered right now. So this is a very like triggering aspect where you could, if you have trauma, it may come up during this time, especially if your chart is really connected to 3 degrees of Taurus or 1 degree of Aquarius. Anything near that is going to get triggered and affected. And that can cause a lot of trauma and other things to come up at this time. It can make people more aggressive. So there is a potential that people might be a little bit more aggressive during this time, that more fights may break out, especially because people are they're being triggered is what's happening with this specifically. It's because you have the planet of trauma, which is Pluto, clashing with your instincts, which is also your anger and your drive, and your warrior spirit, which is all about protecting yourself and making sure that you get fed and things like that. So, this is all instinct, right? And when this is clashing, this can make people feel the need to fight or run away, one or the other, trigger that response in people, that fight or flight response, or fawn response in some people. But yeah, fight or flight response is really likely with this coming up. So that's just something to keep in mind, especially if you're ruled by Mars or Pluto. So we're talking Aries, Scorpio. sun, moon, rising is going to be really affected by this, right? Also, especially if you have anything touching these planets as well. So anything in the very early degrees of all the fixed signs, so Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, all of those are highly affected by that. So maybe don't piss off the fixed signs during this time. So if you know any Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, especially if they're born earlier in the month, don't mess with them. Yeah, like if they're born early, it'd be late that month. So we're talking October Scorpio. We're talking January Aquarius, right? We're talking September Leo. And we're talking April Taurus, all of those first decan, early degree of the fixed signs. Probably don't mess with them right now because they're probably not having a good time. And this can be kind of exacerbated by Jupiter because Jupiter is trining Pluto. And trines are usually easier. They're usually nicer aspects. But unfortunately, Jupiter makes things bigger. So if you're getting triggered, then you're going to get really triggered, right? And it doesn't help that Black Moon Lilith is almost in Libra. So this is also creating a trine there. So there's definitely, and of course opposing Neptune. So there's this real pull towards Neptune and kind of being very fanciful, romantic, or delusional, right? So you have this Black Moon Lilith energy, which is very much rebellious, dark feminine energy, trining Pluto. So if anything's triggered, it's going to activate this need to rebel. Trining Jupiter, which is going to make it bigger and more dramatic and more, just more, right? And then it's also all kind of hitting Neptune, which can be really great for art and writing and using your imagination and connecting with spirit and things like that. But if you're not tapping into this Neptune energy, it's not going to probably be as easy to handle, right? So if you do get triggered this week, I would definitely suggest, do some art, do some journaling, write a story, anything that's creative as an outlet for this energy because it's pretty intense. All right. Of course, Uranus is still sextile Neptune. It is a little bit in aspect with some of this stuff too, which can also increase the rate of just unexpected events or things kind of blowing up in a really intense way because Uranus likes to break things. So expect maybe some unexpected things this week as well with that coming into play with all of this energy, right? So yeah, don't mess with the fixed signs this week because they are not having a good time, especially if they're born early, the first decan of that sign. And also the last decan of the cardinal signs are probably not having a good time with this as well because this is very early. So this is also going to affect, Aries, Capricorn, Libra, Cancer, especially if they're born late. So that's something to take into account. So yeah, be nice to your cardinal signs, be nice to your fixed signs, because they are very likely to get into a fight, especially late degree Aries, because they, are both ruled by Mars and their cardinal sign, so they like to start things, and they tend to be impulsive. Aries is very likely to get into a fight, late degrees Aries is very likely to get into this straight up brawl with this. Don't mess with your Scorpio friends either, because they are also ruled by Mars and Pluto, and this is heavily affecting them. So your Scorpio friends are probably going to be really heavily triggered, especially if they have planets at these early degrees. So just keep that in mind. The mutable signs are probably, they might be having a hard time with this heavy T-square we've got going on, but they're probably just really motivated to get shit done right now, which is super nice. And so as long as they're doing things, this energy will have a release. It's just, you got to take advantage of it. So that's really my advice for this week, is just the intentions you set on the new moon, start taking actions towards those. Be a little bit careful with your fixed signs and your cardinal signs right now, because they are more feisty and easily triggered than usual. And, just really try to tap into this practical grounding energy. I mean, this quarter moon is also ruled by Mercury, just like the new moon. So there's still going to be, lots of socializing, connecting, communicating, writing. This is a really great time for like creative writing. So try to tap into your creativity, into writing and communicating and short distance travel, because it's a really good time for that, right? Yeah, and just be wary with this Pluto-Mars square, though, because that can get out of hand, especially with Uranus and Jupiter and Black Moon Lilith all involved. I wouldn't touch that. Other than using it for like creative endeavors with this kite to Neptune. But yeah. I mean, it's not as fun as the new moon, that's for sure. Like, this is kind of where we're putting in the hard work. We set the fun, lovely intentions at the new moon. This is the time to kind of take all of that and actually start working on it. So if you haven't started, time to start, right? So that's the astrology. And of course, I'll be back next week with the full moon. That's going to be coming up, which I believe it's going to be in Sagittarius. Let's see. So we've got the full moon on the 21st. I'll probably be doing this 17th, maybe. It's going to be next Wednesday. And so this is going to be on the 21st, and this is going to be a full moon in Capricorn. Okay, because we've moved into Cancer season by then. So yeah, so look forward to that, because we're moving into Cancer season next. And this is a very serious full moon because it's in Capricorn. So if you really don't, take the advice and take action now during this week, you're gonna feel it during the full moon. There might be some deep regret when facing reality at that point. So that's just something to keep in mind. Take what resonates. And it's a good time to actually work on things that are going to affect you long term, and it's going to affect reality. So let's see. I'm going to do a 10-card, 11-card reading real quick. I mean, I might pull a little extra cards other than that, but we'll pull some cards, kind of get some advice on how should we deal with this quarter moon. I mean, it is a little bit volatile with some of the aspects. We definitely got, there's a lot of quick, fast energy with all this stuff in Gemini and Virgo. It's a lot of just fast-paced energy. So things could get out of hand and get out of hand quickly if we're not cautious with this. So that's something to look into. And it just really focus on grounding. I mean, it's a really great time to ground with the moon in Virgo. Ground into your routines, into your day-to-day activities, focus on your health, go get exercise, things like that. And with Mars and Taurus, even more so. It's about that steady, consistent action, right? Because we're slowing down a little bit, Mars, but our minds are super, super active right during this time. So yeah, let's get some advice from the cards. What does my collective need to know today? How should they deal with the next week based on this quarter moon? Okay, so we're feeling a little bit out of sorts. And again, 6 of Wands upside down. So we're not feeling exactly confident. We may feel like that we're really trying and fighting and really trying to succeed, fighting to succeed, and it's just not working. It just feels, there's a lot of feelings of maybe potentially feeling like you're losing or you're failing in some way, like just a complete lack of confidence here, feeling like you're really trying, but it's just not really working. You're not really feeling empowered in yourself, not feeling very solid. It may be even feeling like one of two things, that either like you're getting messages from spirit and you're following them, but they don't seem to be, you're not seeing the results yet. And that's really frustrating. Or it could be like you just feel like you're not getting any messages at all. Like the messages aren't coming through, the downloads aren't coming through, feeling maybe a little bit abandoned by spirit here. And yeah, just feeling like a little bit left in the dark here. And yeah, it's just not very confident, not feeling like you're really succeeding. Just there's a lot of struggle energy here. Okay, so what's working for you is you're so you may not be in a relationship or not be looking for love right now. You may also be in a place where you're like going from one extreme to another, where you're not really balanced in duality. And for some reason, this is actually where you're supposed to be. So even if you feel a little bit unloved, or you are not in a relationship, or you're feeling out of balance, there's a reason for it. There's some lesson to be learned here. So don't feel bad if things aren't working out the way that you think that they should. Okay, so what's not working here is you're not listening to your intuition. So either you're getting the messages and you're completely ignoring them, or you're just not receiving them. They're not coming through because you're ignoring your intuition. Or there's also a potential that like someone was deceiving you and that came to light, and that isn't helping right now. It's making you feel like maybe not trusting the universe with this. It could make you feel like really upset that someone deceived you, that they betrayed you, and it's kind of keeping you stuck. But yeah, there's something about intuition and illusion that's not really helping this situation. Okay, yeah, someone's definitely being fake. Someone like either you're putting on some kind of facade because you feel like you can't be yourself and that you can't be authentic, or someone around you is being deceptive and not being honest about who they are and presenting themselves one way when they're really another way. So there's some dishonesty and lack of authenticity here. And this could have to do with the love life. So you could have broken up with someone recently who was lying or being deceptive in some way, who was, not who you thought they were. It also could be that you're going from extremes because you feel like you can't actually be you, and so you're forcing yourself to be some way that's not really natural for you, and kind of pendulum swinging from extremes because of it, right? All right, subconsciously, yeah, you're ready to break free. So you may have felt stuck recently, and you're ready. You're over it. You're over your own BS. You're over being stuck. You're over being overly attached to things that aren't good for you. And this could be part of what's been revealed too, is you might have realized that someone wasn't good for you or a situation wasn't good for you, and you're just over it and you're ready to move on. Like subconsciously, you're like, I just want to move past this. I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be in this karmic cycle. I'm ready to move, right? So there's a lot of desire for movement, a lot of desire for change. Yeah, and there's definitely, it's very possible that either you figured something out with someone else, that they were being deceptive and they were betraying you in some way, and like you're over that and you're ready to move on. And it could also be that you realized that you can't be yourself in this situation and it's toxic for you and you're ready to leave. Okay, so in the past there was a lot of delays of some sort. So you may have been trying really hard or trying to move forward or get a new job or make a new move or travel somewhere, and there was just delays. And it's very related to this situation. So it could be that you were with someone romantically and they were just holding you back. You weren't able to move forward. They were constantly sabotaging you or getting in the way in some form, causing these delays so that you could not move forward. And you may have come to realize that that's what they were doing and you're over it. If it's not about a relationship, it also could be very internal, where you're realizing that this need to hide yourself and be inauthentic and go from one extreme to another is what's causing these delays. What it's causing the problem, right? Because you can't be yourself, which isn't sustainable, which therefore causes delays because you can't keep up consistent energy and consistently progress if you're being inauthentic. Okay, so in the near future, it looks like if you've been feeling depressed, if you've been feeling stuck, if your emotions have been really icky and feeling like you're having to process a lot of emotional pain and struggle and just a lot of emotional gunk, that's ending, right? That's coming to an end. So if you've been depressed, if you've been stuck, if things have been really icky emotionally, that is coming to an end in the near future. So anywhere from, like later today to like the next 6 months, you're moving on, right? You're moving out of this icky, stuck emotional energy into something more positive. And you are afraid that maybe you've left some loose ends, that maybe there was something that you didn't finish that you needed to, there was something that you didn't take care of, and there may be some fear around these loose ends. Maybe there was a legal situation that wasn't completely handled, or maybe you left a job or a relationship and you still have stuff at that person's house, or, you ended your job and it wasn't, it didn't end on good terms, right? So there's some loose ends and there's some fear around that for some reason, right? Okay. However, you do have some support from people around you. The effect of family and friends is you have someone who's very emotionally supportive, very emotionally mature. This could be specifically a very emotionally mature woman who is like there for you emotionally and helping you through this. This could be a mother. This could be a best friend. But yeah, very mature, emotional, feminine energy. This could also be, if you have any connections to goddesses, they could be supporting you as well from the spiritual realm. This could also be people who passed on who are supporting you emotionally to get through this. Okay, yeah, you are so over this situation because you are tearing things down. So the results of your thoughts and actions for this week is you are tearing something down. Something has been in the way. Something has been out of alignment. The situation has been really toxic for some reason, and you are tearing it all down. And you don't have to, like, the universe isn't forcing this. You are choosing. You're like, this needs to go. So that is really positive. And the obstacles, the end result, they're being removed. They are exiting. They are leaving. Where obstacles have suddenly appeared, they are suddenly disappearing, right? So, yeah, things are going to start moving forward and progressing this week considerably because you are exiting this toxic situation. You are over it and you are ready to move on. So this is a time of really taking action and getting out of this stuck energy for you. Anything else? Yeah, and so you are really deeply involved in this situation, and this is part of what's making you feel like you can't succeed, or that you're struggling and you're working really hard and just not making it, not succeeding, not feeling successful, not feeling confident, is that you're a little bit too emotionally attached to this outcome. But I think this energy is going to move on soon. You're going to move out of it and it's going to be fine. You just really got to make sure that your next steps are really leading you in a direction of what you really want. Yeah, because if you don't know what you want, if you're not really sure that this is what you want for what you're working towards, it's going to feel kind of hopeless because you're kind of lacking a sense of direction here, which is also going to make you feel like you don't have a lot of ability to attract what you need, feeling like that you really have to force things, feeling out of your divine feminine, feeling like things are really hard and that you don't really have control of your finances or the physical realm or anything in order to like attract what you need. And a lot of this is probably some like learned helplessness from like narcissists. You're probably in a relationship with a narcissist and have probably exited it already, but it's had long-term trauma and effects on you where you're kind of scared to ask for what you want, and then you work really hard and it doesn't turn out the way that you want it because it wasn't really clear what you were trying to achieve in the first place, and then you feel bad about yourself, right? And then you feel like that you're not succeeding and that you're not able to attract what you need. So, which causes a lot of anxiety, right? So yeah, it seems like a lot of this is rooted in some kind of narcissistic family member or relationship that you had in the past. But yeah, so the advice here really is get clear on what you want. You know you're ready to leave this situation. You're ready to move forward. You don't want to be stuck anymore. You're moving in a really positive direction. And you are moving forward and obstacles are disappearing. But you just need to be very clear about what you want so that when you're working towards things, you know if you're achieving them or not. Because it seems like you probably had some kind of narcissistic relationship where someone had these unrealistic expectations of you. And so if you don't do everything perfect, you probably feel like a failure, right? If you're not doing exactly what you think you should be. And so if you don't have concrete goals and it's just these vague goals, you don't really know if you've achieved them or not. And then you don't have that sense of achievement, which therefore makes you feel like you're a failure, even though you're doing a lot. So my suggestion here would be, get really clear on your goals, write them down, have concrete goals that are like really measurable so that you can say, I did this thing, you can check it off the list, because it really seems like there's some kind of, feeling like you're not succeeding because you're not perfect, and that's not realistic, right? So, yeah, having these relationships with narcissists can give you these really unrealistic expectations of yourself. And that's what I'm kind of seeing here. So yeah, just get really clear on your goals so that you know when you've accomplished them in the first place. And then therefore you can congratulate yourself and give yourself credit for the things that you do instead of feeling like, oh, well, I didn't do X, Y, and Z, even though I did this other thing that was really important. I didn't do it 100%. The way I thought I should, and then therefore I still failed even though I did all these other things. So yeah, just get clear on your goals. You have the motivation and the energy right now to accomplish your goals, so just make sure that you're clear on what they are. Any other, so let me see, I might pull a couple of cards for the signs just to see, because we do have 20 minutes left approximately. So let's see. Let's pull some cards for each of the signs so we can get a little bit more specific advice for people depending on their sign. And this will include anything from like your rising sign, your moon sign, to your sun sign. So I'd probably check all three. So let's see. So Aries, what advice do we have for Aries? Okay, Aries, we're looking at if things have felt really heavy, if you felt like you've had a lot of responsibility and like things are just really weighing down on you, that's coming to an end. So lighten up a little bit. Things are going to be okay. Don't push yourself too hard. Let's see, Taurus. For Taurus, things are probably going to be moving, which makes a lot of sense with Mars and Taurus. There's a lot of motivation with Taurus energy with Mars going through there. This could be a time of like travel. This is maybe a time to be a little bit adventurous. Taurus, of course, loves food. This might be a good time to go try a new restaurant or travel someplace and try the food there, right? So travel is important for Taurus. For Gemini, we're getting the Judgment card. Really focus on your calling right now and your karma. Make sure that your karma is clean and taken care of, but also make sure that you're following your calling and your purpose in this lifetime. It'll help you through this week. Okay, Cancer. Cancer, we're looking at the Justice card. Okay, so things might be kind of unpleasant around you because other people's karma is being balanced. Just trust that you're going to be okay, but it will be uncomfortable this week because other people are probably in conflict during this time. All right, Leo, the Chariot upside down. So you might be really focusing on how to kind of follow your heart and your head, finding that middle ground between your heart and your head, your emotions and your logical side, and finding that sweet spot where wisdom is, which makes sense. I mean, Leo is very heart-centered in the first place, but sometimes that can get you in trouble. So just really try to balance out, even though you want to take a lot of actions with your heart and in the direction of your heart, just make sure you're balancing it with logic at this time, really. There might also be issues with like a car or some sort of transportation at this time as well. Virgo. Oh, the Emperor. Okay, so this is a position of authority, a man in a position of authority. This could be someone that's coming into your life. This could be you feeling in a position of authority or feeling like that you have a very good grasp of the physical world, and that you're able to make things happen when you need them to. And it could also be taking charge, stepping into a more masculine energy at this time. This can also be associated with marriage a little bit, but this is this very masculine energy for Virgo. So make sure to step into that in a healthy way and, go after what you want, right? Okay. And then we have Libra. So Libra, it looks like you really need to focus on planning, plan things out. There are things coming that need you to make sure that you are prepared for. Take time to plan this week. Scorpio. Scorpio, there's some things you need to learn. There's skills that you don't have that you need to take into account right now. So focus on learning. Sagittarius, this is a time of healing. If you've been going through a breakup or some kind of heartbreak, this is a time for you to heal. And this could also be healing past traumas, past relationships, things like that. But for Sagittarius, definitely a time of healing. And we've got Capricorn. Capricorn, this is a time for you to socialize and kind of get out there, have some fun, meet people, talk, travel, socialize, connect with people. Also being very clear about the way that you think and the way that you're planning. Yeah, it's a very good time to collaborate with other people for Capricorn. Aquarius, you really need to focus on you and taking care of your finances and maybe not so much taking care of other people's finances. You need to make sure that you're good and your finances are good and you're taken care of before you're trying to kind of take care of everyone else. So time to focus on your own finances, Aquarius. Nurture yourself, right? And then Pisces. So Pisces, you might be going through a difficult period, which makes sense. I mean, Saturn is in Pisces. So there's likely a lot of feeling of limitation and restriction and things being heavy and oppressive, especially if your sun's in Pisces, right? Your sun or moon. But this week, there might be some kind of financial loss, but in general, the world might feel a little bit cold or harsh or heavy during this time, because I'm getting 5 of Pentacles. So the physical world is just kind of feeling a little bit unpleasant right now. There's a feeling and a sense of lack, especially around money and stability. This could also be issues with family. So any other advice for Pisces for that? Yeah, that might be due to loose ends that need tied up. So once that's figured out, hopefully the finances will get better. You got to take care of your responsibilities, right? Saturn and Pisces, take care of your responsibilities, Pisces. Okay, I think I'm going to cut it short today because that's pretty much it. I mean, the quarter moon is looking a little bit volatile, but also a great time to take action and move forward. We've got advice for each of the signs. We did a tarot reading, and it looks like you're ready to move forward, which is awesome. Make sure to take care of yourself. Get out of toxic situations and just make sure you know what you want. And this also will depend how it's affecting you. It's going to be how this actually is in your astrology chart. That's why I suggest that you look at your birth chart and look at this chart to see where all this stuff is. For Aries rising, we're looking at, the moon is going to be in the 6th house, which is all about health and routine. So that's where a lot of the challenges are going to be. For Taurus rising, I believe that would be in the 5th house here. So this is going to be in the 6th house for Aries, 5th house for Taurus. So this might be, maybe some frustrations with a lover or something of that nature. Romance, children, issues with children are likely to come up during this time, especially around their health. For Gemini rising, we're looking at maybe some issues with the family, especially around family health. For Cancer rising, we're looking at this is probably going to be in the 3rd house, which is going to be maybe some conflict with siblings, potentially. For these Cancer, and then Leo rising, this is going to be in the 2nd house, so this could be some issues around income, but also taking action around income. For Virgo, this is likely in the 1st house. Yeah, so Virgo rising, probably going to be in the 1st house, which is all about the self and taking care of yourself and making sure that your needs are met, right? For Libra, it's going to be in the 12th house, so you might have some issues with secrets or endings, your secrets coming out, finding out about secret enemies, deception, things like that, or things coming to an end. For Scorpio, this is probably going to be in the 11th house for Scorpio rising, so we're looking at this could be conflict or having issues with friends, especially around their health. For Sagittarius, this could be issues in career. This could be a boss having problems with you, conflict with a boss. It could be your boss having health issues, right? For Capricorn, this is going to be probably in the 9th house, this could be issues with like long distance travel. So if you're trying to travel somewhere, you might have issues with that. It could be also issues with education or religious members in your community or cultural issues coming up at this time. For Aquarius, this is some 8th house stuff, so there might be some trauma that's triggered or pulled up, issues around sex or boundaries, intimacy, things like that. And for Pisces, we're looking at 7th house issues. This could be your partner having health issues or having issues with their routine or having conflict with a partner during this time. So that's all the houses. So make sure to look into that. See where this is in your chart, because where the moon is kind of the emotional conflict and kind of the highlight of where it is, right? The sun also matters. I mean, for like Aries rising, we're looking at, there's an issue in the 6th house, right? Because Virgo is traditionally the 6th house ruler. And there's going to be issues of health, routine, and things like that. But it's going to be squaring the sun in the 3rd house, because Gemini traditionally rules the 3rd house. So the placement of the sun also matters. So that's usually issues with your siblings or your community around routine. There might be conflict between your health and your routine and your siblings, community, cousins, things like that with that kind of square. And that will move back for each of them. So like the sun will be in the 2nd house for Taurus rising. So it's going to be issues with money, right? So money and children or a lover. For Gemini, we're looking at issues with your needs and the needs of your family. So conflict between your boundaries and your family and their health, things like that, right? For Cancer, we're looking at the 3rd to the 12th, which is issues with siblings and endings. This could be siblings telling your secrets. This could be siblings being your secret enemy. This could be ending a relationship with a sibling or a cousin or someone in the community. And that's is it Cancer for this one? I think we've got Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. You're looking at issues with like maybe business income or friends' income, things like that. And that's Leo. Virgo, we're looking at 1st to 10th. So this could definitely be fighting with your boss, right? Or an authority figure. For Libra, we're looking at 12th to 9th. So this could be, again, secrets, but this could have to do with culture and long distance travel, also foreigners, things like that. There may be some conflict or endings around religion or culture. For Scorpio, this could be some issues with like friends and sex and trauma and things of that nature. For Sagittarius, we're looking 10th to 7th, which this could be issues and conflicts between authority figures and your partner or one business partner, things like that, right? For Capricorn, we're looking 9 to 6, so your daily routine may be getting in the way of like long distance travel or college or religion, things like that, right? So there could be some conflict there. For Aquarius, we're looking at like issues with the 8th to the 5th. So this could be issues with a romantic partner that have to do with sex and intimacy. And then for Pisces, it's going to be 7 to the 4th, which is partners between someone you live with or your family and your partner, like wife or husband specifically, usually, or a business partner, and your home life being in conflict in some way. So definitely look at your chart to figure out kind of where this is falling. Mm-hmm. So you can see kind of what, the overall conflict, challenge, actions that you should be taking, because this is also how you should be taking action, because you want to take advantage of the square, because squares are tension, but they're also action. So it can be conflict with someone else, but it could also be you taking action on your goals, specifically your intention that you set on the moon. So, I'm Sinta Danu, and this was our celestial guidance session, weekly astrology and tarot. I'm going to be doing this every Wednesday. I had to change my dates because I'm going to be busy on Thursday. So I'll be doing these on Wednesday from now on. And so we'll do this. And of course, make sure to check your birth charts before you come so that you can look at it and see, where this is and how it's affecting you personally. If you would like a personal astrology or tarot reading, I will put my link in the description. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here. So thank you for stopping by. Bye.